Sean, good to see you. Today we are talking through the four expenses that retirees almost always underestimate. It is so important to nail down those known expenses in retirement so we can build an income plan around them. So the number one cost that we almost always underestimate is healthcare. Medicare doesn't cover everything, and long-term care can wipe out your savings if you don't have insurance.
Absolutely. Everything changes when we retire and we're looking at Medicare. Long gone is the private health insurance. And Medicare is good. It covers a lot of things, Aaron, and it's very important for folks. But people often forget about the premiums that we have to pay for Medicare.
Mm,
Right now, it's $170 per month per person for Medicare Part B. If you want to get Part D, that's for drugs, Aaron, that's going to cost more money. It's not a fixed price. It's going to be based on the plan you pick, but that's an extra expense you're going to incur. And don't forget about your deductibles and your co-insurance and your co-pays, and your drug expenses
mhm.
when you're retired. Those are all going to eat into your budget. So the healthcare expenses certainly don't go away. And in fact, they probably increase because the bad news is we start seeing the doctors a lot more when we get older. So you just
Right.
multiply all those copays and deductibles and everything when you're retired vis-a-vis when you were working, and it adds up very quickly.
And of course, Medicare does not cover long-term care, Sean. And we plugged in Concord here to see the cost right now. And this is so expensive.
It's incredible for a private room in a skilled nursing facility right now is $13,000 a year here in New Hampshire.
Wow.
That's a lot of money, and that can really wipe out your savings very quickly. What we see with a lot of the clients we work with, Aaron, is that those that need to get the care, they go in, they're paying $13,000 a month. The average length of stay is about 3 years. So that gets you $400,000 roughly. That you're going to have to come up with out of your savings. So it can really eat into your retirement savings. Let's
Mhm.
not forget about inflation. That's today's cost. If you need care, let's say in 20 years, typically people need this care when they're in the early 80s. So if you're in your early 60s now and you're planning for the potential need for long-term care in your 80s, we're going to look at about 23 to
Right.
$24,000 a month in that nursing home care.
Right.
So you really need to make sure that you're budgeting for that.
7 out of 10 people will need long-term care at some point. Good point, Sean.
Yeah.
Number two, of course, housing. Even if you own your home outright, you will still have expenses.
You will. We can own our homes outright, not have a mortgage. We're still going to pay taxes. There's no avoiding taxes. Those are always going to be there. But let's say your roof or your heating system or your septic system or your well, those all have finite lives. You may own your house outright. You may not be paying a mortgage, but you're going to have to maintain your home and replace those big ticket items when they fail. So you have to make sure you've got some money set aside for those new infrastructure type investments in your home. And then as we get older, maybe we're not going to be cutting the grass so much anymore. Maybe somebody needs to come in and shovel the driveway
Mhm.
or clear the deck. You're going to have to start paying people for a lot of the things they used to do on your own, which didn't cost any money. So plan
Mhm.
ahead for that.
Next, of course, taxes. A lot of retirees will still be paying income taxes, and a lot of people are still surprised to learn that Social Security is taxed.
Social Security is taxable. There's two levels of taxation on Social Security at two different thresholds, and you reach them very quickly. They were
Mhm.
created in the 80s and 90s. They were never indexed to inflation, and you're going to hit them. So your Social Security is probably going to be taxable.
Mhm.
Let's not
And
forget about our 401ks, our 457s, our 403bs, our all these things, Aaron. You haven't been taxed on these yet. Right now, when you turn age 73, you have to pay your RMDs, those are your required minimum distributions. The government needs their tax revenue, and they're going to tell you to start taking money out. So you're going to have to take money out of those accounts and pay taxes on them. We can get into more details later, but every time you take money out of your 401k, you're paying a little bit more in tax on your Social Security. So it's a double whammy. You
right,
can't get away from those taxes.
right. The only fun expense we have on this list, travel and leisure. We want to enjoy this hard-earned retirement.
We do. We've worked our butts off during our careers, and we want to really enjoy those golden years in our retirement. So,
Mhm.
look at where you want to go. Hopefully, you have a wish list that you've worked out with your spouse or your friends and what you want to do in retirement. Try to plan for those things. An around the world trip on a cruise sounds like a great idea. It's awfully expensive. You know, Maybe that's not your thing, and maybe you want to travel the country in an RV. Identify those goals, determine how much they're going to cost for you, and with your financial advisor, work those things into your plan because you deserve them.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to have fun money in there as well. Sean, if somebody wants to talk through these expenses or start planning now for their retirement, how can they reach you?
Give us a call, 603-715-2335. If you want to check out our website first and see what information we have, and there's a lot of it on the website, go to daviswealthmgmt.com. After you've looked at that, you've seen the information. If you then want to meet with me or have a chat, click Connect with an Advisor, and you can put some time directly on my calendar.
Great. Sean, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.